What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. As we transition into the new Edge of Fate expansion, there's going to be a lot of changes, and not just the armor and weapon systems, but how the in-game economy of Destiny works. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to go over an updated guide on how solo players can easily farm for Spoils of Conquest, high-stat raid armor, and raid weapons, without having to rely on a fire team to get it done. And we'll be touching base on some incredible tools that you can utilize to help in this process. So today we're going to be going over the ultimate updated guide on how solo players can farm for a total of 16 raid chests each and every week without ever needing a fire team. And by grabbing these on all 3 characters, you'll have a total of 48 raid chests. And out of these chests, you'll get unique raid weapons, armor, and armor mods, Spoils of Conquest, and other materials like enhancement cores and glimmer. As is the case with any activity reward, you will need to have previously completed at least some of the encounters within each raid to be able to get any of the armor or weapons. With that said, let's jump into it. To reach these hidden chests, we'll be using a mixture of out-of-bounds exploits and checkpoints obtained through the D2 Checkpoint website and Twitch checkpoint bots. If you have access to Discord, you can add the D2 Checkpoint bot right into your server so that you and friends will have an easier time accessing them. Otherwise, you'll need to resource their direct website, which I'll leave a link for down below. The D2 Checkpoint site refreshes weekly, and it does offer a limited amount of options between raids and dungeons, and that's where Twitch bots can fill in the gap because these offer a much wider range of checkpoint options. There are several Twitch bot streams available, and I'll leave the links for those down in the description. You just need to be aware that some checkpoints might take longer to get than others do, depending on what time of day that you're getting on. And since checkpoints reset each Tuesday, you'll need to give those bots time to collect all the checkpoints before their services can be used. To enter the queue for a checkpoint, you need to enter in your Bungie user ID and the desired checkpoint destination. You can even check on your position within the queue so that you know exactly how long it'll take. Once your checkpoint bot is ready, they'll send you an in-game invite, so be sure that you're ready to receive it. You might have noticed that we are using a special tool in the video which takes my user ID and my desired checkpoint, and it creates the command prompt that will be needed whenever requesting a checkpoint through the Twitch bots, so it simplifies the overall process just a bit. At the time of this video, this tool is not available for public access, but it is being curated by a good friend of mine called Q, and it should be available for all players here soon. The first raid that we'll be farming chests for will be Salvation's Edge, and this does feature craftable versions of its weapons, so you will have a chance of receiving red borders, and will be able to obtain both hidden chests within this raid by utilizing the Twitch checkpoint bots. Once you've gotten the invite and have joined, you'll come in at the end of the second encounter, which means you'll have to go through the traversal area to get to the first hidden chest. As you're traversing through, you will have a tormentor that spawns in, along with some rank and file enemies. You will need to defeat all of these enemies for the pathway to open up.
Illogical obstacles. Pain can be fleeting. It can also be eternal.
To get the second hidden chest within this raid, we'll be using another TwitchBot command that will bring us in just after the Verity encounter. You'll need to climb upwards through the branches, but watch out for the Grim and other enemies as you make your way through. With performance in mind, I'd like to take a moment to talk about Surfshark, who has sponsored today's video. A lot of people think that the only benefit in using a VPN is for safer web browsing and online purchasing, but in the world of online gaming, a VPN might be your #1 support class. Imagine yourself about to clutch a sweaty Crucible match, and then suddenly you're disconnected. Was it your internet provider? No, it was Timmy Tryhard on the other team, DDoSing your IP out of salty rage. When you have the safety of Surfshark's VPN services, your real IP address gets hidden, which means that Timmy Tryhard has no power over you. VPNs are also a great way to access regional content that you would otherwise not have access to, whether it's cheaper prices or beta test access. With Surfshark's easy-to-use VPN, you can change your regional location, giving you access to those forbidden fruits. And that's why we've partnered with Surfshark to provide you with an amazing opportunity. By signing up with my exclusive link, which is down in the description, you'll be able to enjoy all that Surfshark offers with a no-risk 30-day money-back guarantee. And by signing up with my special user code, you'll receive 4 months of service at no additional cost, giving you the freedom to explore the web and dominate those online PvP lobbies. To get your personal protection started, visit surfshark.com/profanedeal or enter profanedeal as your special redemption code at checkout, and you'll never have to worry about the threat of online predators again. So don't let yourself become a victim to Timmy Tryhard. Check out that link below and let Surfshark be your Sherpa. The next raid that we're going to hit up is the Root of Nightmare, where we'll be able to access both hidden chests. We'll be using another Twitch bot to get the first one. This will bring us in just after the first encounter, so we'll need to navigate through to get to the chest.
Modicum of my original power, I'd have killed 1 or 3 of those citizens to expedite your arrival. Instead, I suffer from the incompetence of these new recruits.
Once you've gotten into this room, a tormentor will spawn in, and it's only once that tormentor is dead that the chest will appear. The final chest within this raid is going to require the final boss checkpoint for Nezarec, and we can use the D2 checkpoint site or a Twitch bot for that. This chest will be slightly more complicated to get to as it requires us backtracking through a few different sections of the raid, and even going into some out-of-bounds exploits to get there, and it's for that reason that I would encourage you to bring a sword and follow along with the video. Our next destination is the Vow of the Disciple, but we don't need any checkpoint bots to get this one. In this opening area, there are 3 hidden cruxes, and by destroying those, you'll open up a secret room that contains the first hidden chest. To make things easier for yourself, I would suggest to defeat the abominations that spawn in with the first group of enemies. By doing so, you'll remove the pervading darkness, so you won't have to worry about dying. This raid does contain a second hidden chest, but it's almost impossible for a solo player to reach, even with a checkpoint. The next raid that we'll be farming will be the Garden of Salvation, which was recently given an update making all of its weapons craftable. There's a couple of ways that we can go about getting both of the secret chests here. We can use the old method, which requires you to skirt through some map boundaries, and we'll be able to eventually get to both of the hidden chests, but it's difficult, especially if you're inexperienced. Alternatively, we could obtain the final checkpoint from a Twitch bot or the D2 checkpoint site, and we could backtrack to get to the second chest. A problem with this method is that Bungie has made it impossible to go all the way back. So if you're starting from the final boss, you're not going to be able to go all the way back to get to the first chest. So in that case, we would need to hit up a Twitch bot, which would put us at the drop down leading right into that first hidden chest. And from there, we could use those old exploits to get to the second hidden chest. The next raid that we'll be venturing into will be the Deepstone Crypt, which has 2 hidden chests, and we intend on grabbing both. The first can be obtained by traversing through the cold, desolate terrain of Europa. In the opening areas of this raid, you'll have to navigate through a frozen tundra on your Sparrow or Skimmer, and if you can successfully navigate your way through, you'll find the first secret chest waiting for you at the top of the rocks. The second hidden chest requires us to grab a checkpoint from a Twitch bot. You'll be loaded into the Morningstar area, which is before the encounter against Atrax. You'll need to avoid all the shanks as you make your way through the underbelly of this space station, but you'll find the hidden chest hanging on an exposed ledge to the left. We head over to Crota's End for our next farm. We'll be heading up the first hidden chest within this raid, and this one is a little different than the rest. We don't need any checkpoints for this one, but we do need a second account. This could be an alternate account of your own on a separate device, or it could be a friend joining for the ride. The point of that second account is to take over the chalice so that the bridge can develop. That's going to open up the path into the lantern section where you'll be able to grab the first chest. Once you start heading for the chest, the lantern encounter will begin, and you will have stacks of darkness start weighing down on you, so you're going to need to be quick. In addition to the first hidden chest out of this raid, players have an opportunity to farm the final boss encounter of Crota's End. We've showed off this solo cheese in previous videos, but by performing a specially timed finisher, you're able to knock Crota right off the map, providing you with an instant completion, which is going to provide you with weapons, armor, spoils of conquest, and even essence of oversouls. This cheese works out a lot easier for hunters, but warlocks and titans can also achieve this when using the prismatic subclass, along with the spirit of assassin. The crucial part of this cheese is getting Crota to be between you and a finishable enemy, and for Crota to be in the center of the platform with his back facing the oversoul. It's probably going to take you a couple of attempts to get the timing and positioning down for this cheese, but once you've mastered it, you'll be able to cash in on these rewards each and every week. We're heading to the Last Wish for our next raid farm, and within this raid we have 2 chests that we can access, and we don't have to use a checkpoint bot for either. Both of these are going to be made available by inserting the associated wishwall code, and that's going to be for the Shuro-Chi and Morgith encounter. We've covered these several times in the past, so most of you are probably familiar with them. But from the Shuro-Chi encounter, you'll have to backtrack across the bridge to get to the hidden chest. To get to the other hidden chest, you'll need to start from Morgith, and you have to take the big leap across. This means you'll need to load yourself up with Strand Grapple, Romaine Supers, and a sword with Eager's Edge. Our final destination today will be the Vault of Glass, where there's a total of 4 chests that we'll be able to get to, and there's a few different methods that you can take to get these. A long-time method of obtaining the second hidden chest has been to use an out-of-bounds exploit. There's a big flat-sided structure here on the right side, and it has a boulder leaning up against it. With a small enough sparrow, we can back up into this small gap. We can then simultaneously dodge and jump off of our sparrow to slide right under the floor, and this still works in 2025. To obtain both the initial and first hidden chest of this raid, we could use an exploit against a Minotaur. In this opening encounter, after you take over a plate, a Minotaur is spawned in, and their job is to take it back over. But if you catch that Minotaur and pop his head off, then he'll forever chase you down instead. The problem is that you have to do this with 3 Minotaur, and you have to keep their attention for several minutes, and you can't kill the Minotaur either. But to eliminate all the effort behind both of these methods, we could obtain a checkpoint from a Twitch bot, which would bring us right into the end of this first encounter, permitting us access to both the initial chest and the first hidden chest. And after we've looted those, we could resource a Twitch bot one more time to get the checkpoint for the Gorgon maze, permitting us access to the hidden chest that's in this area. You just have to avoid getting seen by the Gorgons. If you felt frisky enough, you could even continue through the maze and cross the giant gap to get to the hidden chest that's just before the final boss encounter. And with that, we have now covered how you can farm 16 different raid chests each and every week, 48 if you're using all 3 characters. This should result in a ton of extra Spoils of Conquest and a lot of new weapons and armor for you to play with. So if you're a new or returning player who's had struggles getting a team together, then you'll definitely want to start resourcing these exploits. I wish you all the best of luck out there. If you enjoyed today's video and found it helpful, then please be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated and both really do help support the channel. If you're a new Light Guardian just starting your journey, or a battle-hardened veteran just looking for a new place to call home, then be sure to check out the Discord link that's down in the description, where you'll be able to join one of the greatest communities in all of Destiny. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.